What is your beef? Why do you have such a problem with me?
Can we get the real Andy? I would prefer the real Andy.
Oh, let's get the real Max. I'll take off my mask when you take off your mask, brother.
Because who's your new favorite YouTuber, Ian, that wanted to be on the show with us?
The Madman. The Madman.
Mad Movie Man.
Let's bring on Max Movies because he scares the living shit out of me. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Mad Max says, I think you should apologize. Right? I'm sitting here in a goddamn torn down pool house.
I don't even know who
the
you
pool house
are.
is torn apart. Okay, it's torn apart because I'm remodeling on my $70 webcam. Okay, I'm no better than you.
Movie Madness Entertainment. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Mad Show. So what is this? This is a show I've done before. I'm trying to reboot it. If I want to take this channel more places, I want to be able to do more solo streams too. MME Live, the Power Hour, the Mic Drop, To the Max, Tape Hunters, Have You Met, and member streams are not going anywhere. But it's exhausting listening to everyone else's bad opinions. And some people may say I have a bad opinion, but you know what? I want to stress it on my own stream, on my channel. And there's just a lot to talk about. Shout out to Degrassi. He inspired me to bring back this series because he got me thinking on the other stream, the Power Hour. Main topic here is going to be Kathy Kennedy. I have a lot more details. I've been watching as much info as I can, reading as much info as I can. It does seem like she's leaving, and it sounds horrible. Horrible. But I do want to get to something that's going to really trigger some of my friends that I believe is absolutely true, and why I need a break sometimes from my friends. Not naming anyone specifically. I am going to be doing a Power Hour later, but it's like talking to a Snyder bro. It really is. And this is what I mean. Kathy bros are the new Snyder bros. I 100% stand by this. It is infuriating speaking with my friends that are not realistic about where Star Wars is now, where it is now, and what it could have been, and the failures that she absolutely has. Now, I came back to Star Wars with The Mandalorian. I came back to it. What do I mean by Kathy bros are the new Snyder bros? They go to bat, defend every decision. Everything's fine. We're doing great here. We're doing great. And they don't realize the truth. Okay, so where are we now? When Star Wars left theaters, they were going to try to do 2 movies at a time. Now we haven't had any. There's so many announcements. And then here's some facts for you right here. This is not insignificant. This is a big deal. And I do not think that she is naturally leaving of her own desires to move on. I think there's been pressures to get Star Wars back on track. Well, this is going to be a clip out figure drawing. Hey, everyone. And yes, I will ask people to thumbs up the video, CGH, because people don't seem to do it on positive content unless you ask them. Please thumbs up this video for more solo streams in addition to all my other content. But here are the facts that the Kathy bros will not accept. They will not accept. And there's like this extreme negativity towards anything George or the prequels related. It's really weird. Not everyone's the same. Sequel trilogy fans are not a monolith. They think on their own too. Some sequel trilogy fans like the prequels. But there is a large majority of them that absolutely have complete disdain for George Lucas and the prequels. Okay, but here are the facts as to where we got here. And I am back to Star Wars, but a lot of people are not. And is it a completely different situation than Marvel is right now? Disney to close Star Wars themed hotel less than 2 years after it opened. Okay. And then the go-to thing will be is, well, Max, but Disney is releasing Star Wars on Disney Plus. And, you know, Marvel shows haven't been all hits either. And here's my response to you, Kathy Bros, that bring that up as a talking point, okay? Even though I like The Acolyte, I love The Acolyte, actually, and I would love to see a continuation. The Acolyte, first off, not even just The Acolyte, Andor, The Acolyte, and now Skeleton Crew have all really underperformed and are not selling anything, selling new subscribers to Disney Plus. At least not in droves. This isn't a Disney Plus seller. I think even fans of that can admit that. This isn't driving subscriptions to Disney Plus. It's not. And then you could respond, well, Marvel's had some issues too with their Marvel shows. Yes, but the big differential there is the other thing besides this hotel tanking and going under, the Star Wars hasn't had competition in the theater. It's only on Disney Plus right now. You can only get Star Wars, current Star Wars, on Disney Plus for the last 4-5 years. So it's not even competing with itself, where some might say that's the issue with Marvel. It's diluting itself. It's diluting the stories, diluting these characters. Not every character needs a series. So it's on its own and it's still failing. Okay? So these are facts that it's underperforming. Acolyte was going to get a season 2. They were in the midst of writing it. It's no longer happening. Skeleton Crew, who knows? In Andor, I'm looking forward to Andor. I doubt it's going to do better numbers than Andor season 1. I really doubt. And I hope it does. I wish it does. I wish it would. So these are the facts that this Kathy Bros will not accept, and they just keep talking about billion-dollar movies that happened years ago, where there was a significant decline from Force Awakens to The Rise of Skywalker. Okay? It's there. I'm back to Star Wars. Not a lot of people came back. There's not a lot of competition for Star Wars, and it's still not doing good on Disney Plus. Unfortunately. So when this is the only thing you have and it's underperforming, that is very telling. And I don't think this Kathy is just reaching this on her own volition and is just going to leave because she has decided and not for other factors. These are undeniable truths that you can't tell to shareholders and people that have stock in Disney. How can you explain this? This is not good. All right. Now, is Star Wars dead? No. Now I will get to where we are with Kathy and her replacement, and how where everyone may have been celebrating with thunderous applause may be extremely disappointed from what you're about to hear. And it explains a lot. Actually, I should probably... Well, you see the thumbnail with Dave Filoni handcuffed. And that really explains why it's taken so long to get a replacement for Kathy. Even if she's going to leave, and shout out to Bruce for this, she's going to be in a back room as a producer everywhere on all these projects. That kind of explains why so many things were announced. So many projects were announced. Even if she's not going to be the president anymore, because she's going to stay on as a producer. And who would want that? After there's been some successes, but after the failures of the Kathy Lucasfilm era, why would you want to take over when she is still producing things, projects that were announced years ago? And some of the reception of those movies is going to be on you. Who would want to take up that position? That really explains where we're at. So even though We may have Kathy stepping down. They may announce Dave Filoni and a co-president of Lucasfilm at Star Wars Celebration 25. She not most likely. She will be a producer on a lot of these projects if they still come. Now, anything that's announced new after the new president, most likely she will not be a producer on. But let's say, for instance, the Rian Johnson finally comes back and makes a trilogy. She will have producer credits on that. She may have a say on how that goes, And then the new president is going to get some of the reception from those projects. That sounds like a horrible deal that keeps getting worse. Let me see. We're just making things up now? What are you talking about, Anthony? About Kathy and producing? I don't know what you mean. Okay. Max just improvising now because there's no plan for my show? I actually I have a lot of topics for today. So that is what I'm hearing from a lot of insiders and scoopers, is that she is going to stay on as a producer. Dave Filoni, along with someone else, and Favreau absolutely, from what we're hearing, is Favreau absolutely does not want the job because he makes a lot more just making content, making TV shows and movies for Lucasfilm, and it may impact how much money he makes with all the added responsibility and pressures of producing. Now, the point where I get to Degrassi, is he had the question for me, which I couldn't answer on the Power Hour because I don't know everything. Okay. Do you know exactly what the president of Lucasfilm does? No, I do not. I do not know all the details of everything she does. I know what is presented through movie news, entertainment news, and just as much about it as anyone else. And that's all I really need to effing know. I do not need to know all the other details. Now, I have researched a few things. She also works with licensing for companies that pay to make Star Wars products, video games, and stuff like that. She puts money together. But I am judging her, and I've learned this from the console that shall not be named that I invested in interviewing. I want to stay at arm's length from these companies. Not that I would have inside knowledge of what Kathy does. What is presented to the public and the fandom and at Star Wars Celebration, she has had a lot of failures. And that's all I need to know to voice my opinion. If Degrassi wants to go back and say, well, she's an executive, she does this, this, and this, that's great. I don't need to know that. I have more than enough to judge her on canceled projects, the reception of the shows, the part of Disney World that's now no longer, and where we're at with Star Wars right now. There's a lot of evidence to critique her on that I don't need to know what her day-to-day is. And if the point is that I don't trust enough in executives, I've been working for 20 plus years. I know that a lot of managers and executives make a lot of mistakes, and I do have a bias against people in charge of companies. And when I feel like they're throwing shit against the wall, see what sticks, it feels like that. And that's pretty much what's been happening at Lucasfilm for the last few years with announcing these new movie projects, in my opinion. I have enough there to voice that opinion without knowing everything she does day to day. I don't think she does as much as James Gunn. I will say that. I have enough there to say she doesn't interact with anybody. She only does softball interviews, and even those she can't land. If you're talking about like that IGN, people say IGN are the shilliest of shills. I don't like to overuse that word. But if you go back to that at Star Wars Celebration, and she couldn't give a genuine answer on what's happened with all these projects like Rian Johnson's trilogy, there's still a thing. People have been busy. That shows you the type of executive she is. She does not have any pushback, honestly. Callie is so cute. Yes. Well, Ash, I hope she doesn't stay on at all. They should get someone who actually respects the franchise. I don't think she intentionally harmed the franchise. She just thought she had a lot of people that go into marketing, classes. One of the things you want to do is you want to get new customers. I think she wanted to get new customers. I think she did it at the expense of old customers. There has to be a happy balance, and customers have to feel like they're hearing you. I don't feel like she addressed concerns. James Gunn addresses concerns. Kevin Feige addresses concerns. Even Bob Iger addresses concerns when he tells people that not everything needs a movie or spinoff. He addressed concerns too. She does not have a lot of skills with interacting with press that's not attached to Lucasfilm, all the major trades. Show me where she's done a hardball interview. Even George did some hardball interviews. Kathy really hasn't since she's been there. But that's the problem is, and like Bruce here, hey Bruce, how's it going? And I'm looking forward to the Power Hour later. I'm going to be doing more content because I want this channel to grow. It's only going to grow with your help. So like CGH says, smash the like button is what he likes to say. Not Max is going to beg for likes. But it feels like she is going to be a producer in some room for projects that she's announced already. She may have some sway in how those productions go. And who would want that? Who would want that? I really think the only person that could is Dave Filoni, because Dave Filoni does have ambition. He was handpicked by George, just like Kathy was. Kathy was handpicked by George too. And I think he's the only one that's going to put up with that scenario because he's been basically doing it for how many years? He's basically been doing part of Kathy's job. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. Do I have facts for that? No. It's my opinion that some of these productions and some of these scenarios feel very Filoni-esque, some of these projects. So, yeah, I feel like he's going to stay on, and they're probably going to announce another co-leadership role at Lucasfilm with Filoni. I think the sources are saying, I forget her name. Her last name's Beck. Carrie Ann Beck or something. That's already looking at Lucasfilm. But I would be surprised now if Favreau actually takes the role. She's the president of Lucasfilm. Do I know what she does every day? No, and I don't need to, CJH. I don't need to know what she does every day. I only need to know about the reception of Star Wars, the Disney World hotel closing down, and the reception of the last few Disney Plus Star Wars shows without the competition of, I'm going to stop answering you because I know what you're trying to do. The reception of the last few Disney Plus shows and the numbers when she has no competition with Star Wars in the theater. There's no excuse for these numbers. It's bad. That lands at her feet as well as the projects that are announced all the time, probably because she wants to be a producer credit. Yes, I am blaming her for that. Absolutely. That she had purview into that. You could go research it yourself if you want. F you, CJH. I want to move on. This is why I'm doing a stream alone, so I could get my thoughts out. If you want to go do all that research, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Okay. Oh my God, Bruce. Proves I have no idea what I'm talking about. I read articles, bros. In the chat. I read articles. Hi, Lisa. You always pop in at the weirdest moments, but I'm really happy you're here. Okay. I've read articles where Lucasfilm worked with Disney World for Galaxy's Edge and the hotel, the Star Cruiser Hotel, with that being sequel trilogy themed. Okay. I've read this. I'm not going to go back and find it. If you don't believe me, tough. You go look it up. Good God. We have a Kathy bro in the chat. We have a few Kathy bros. Kathy bros are the new Snyder bros. I did a little bit more research on what she does today. Yeah, she deals with licensing agreements for Star Wars. She deals with like product placement. She deals with financing for a lot of this stuff. And she absolutely could be linked to the hotel. You're just sowing doubt in the chat, Bruce, just to piss me off. And it worked. It triggered me. How can you say she doesn't have something to do with that? And Star Wars, even though I like the shows, they're not bringing people back to Star Wars, and there's nothing to compete with it in the theater. It is not in a good place. It's not dead, but it's not in a good place. It needs to be improved. And unfortunately, we are not going to get, here's the other problem. We are not going to get a fresh start like James Gunn's DC. That's what I mean when it sounds like the Hamada verse. It sounds like half measures with Kathy in the background. And it doesn't feel like we're going to get this fresh start with a new slate of announcements. And with Kathy in the background as a producer, with Filoni just there doing a lot of the work, it doesn't feel like doesn't feel like a new surge of energy is going to go into Star Wars, which I want. I want some fresh feeling for Star Wars. I'm not saying cancel the Rey movie or don't make 10, 11, and 12, but it's probably going to be most likely the status quo, even if she steps down. Go ahead. Yeah. Blame the fans. Are you kidding me? There's so much blaming of consumers. It's ridiculous. And that's where we'll get to my next topic. My next topic I had. I hear a lot about entitled fans. I want to talk about entitled companies and entitled CEOs. In the 60-day window for theaters, which in some cases is a good idea. In some cases, the movie industry will never be what it was. Okay? There's the big blockbuster movies. Not every movie is going to get people in the seats, and treating us like children when the technology has brought new options and letting the embracing what the consumer wants, watching a movie on their own terms. Okay. VOD is here to stay. It should be a factor in your theatrical strategy, not one size fits all. It was driving me nuts last night. Well, we're talking about every movie needs a 60-day window. The younger generations just do not go to movies like they used to. If it's an event movie, yes. Just being good isn't good enough in the movie theater anymore. It has to be something special. It has to be something fresh. And if you're talking about the 24-hour news cycle, what about the 24-hour entertainment cycle? If you wait 60 days for some of these lower budget movies that are not these massive IP blockbusters like Disney and Warner Brothers are producing, it's going to cost some of these movies money. And don't think just because it's not officially on VOD that it cannot make its way to pirating websites. There are some consumers, yes, consumers do exist, that will pay VOD, that want to see it in their living room, that don't want to go out to the theater to see it, that are willing to drop that cash. I am behaving like a spoiled child? No. Entitled companies are not entitled to customers' money unless they bring something that's worth it. Bring something that's worth it. Captain America: Brave New World was fun. It was fun. but I don't see it being fresh or new or bringing the audience back or bringing a new audience. And the MCU has been successful in the past when it brought in new fans, you know? So this is where we get to where you start blaming the consumers. Okay, the consumer's not informed. They don't know what they want. They just have to deal with it. How's that a way to... I'm a customer service rep for 20 plus years. How is that a way to treat your customers? That's a horrible way. Embrace technology or you'll end up like the record company or some video game companies. Embrace technology. And listen, I'm not a fan of AI, but ignoring it completely is a mistake. You know, you have to adapt to the current trends. Evolve your business. Bring something, just the movies that were good before, that brought people to the theaters in the late 90s and early 2000s, are not going to do it now unless it feels fresh, new, and exciting. And the quality is high. I'm sorry, there's just too much to compete with your eyes, even your phone. Your phone competes with the movie theater. Video games are so cinematic. They compete with your movie theater when these big epic video games, AAA games, and streaming. If you wait 60 days for some of these projects, they're going to be out of the 24 entertainment cycle. And some of these projects are going to get lost and lose some money that they could have made. And everyone that says that you don't make as much money on VOD, I would tell you this, because everyone does this to me. Bring the numbers, bring the facts, because I don't think you have them because the industry doesn't release them. There's a reason they consistently do VOD. After so many weeks, there's a different percentage of the cut that theaters take of the movie. The highest percentage of the cut is the first 2 weeks for a movie company in the theaters. After that, it's bumped down. Whereas the VOD strategy, the cut directly to the studio may be higher, you know? So all I'm saying is have a little nuance. Don't be an out of touch executive and just say, we're going back to the old ways without adapting the new. 60-day windows for some of these AAA movies. Great. For Captain America, Brave New World, they have tracking. They have pre-sales. They have the first 2 weekends of numbers. They have more than enough to go on to realize they should adapt an earlier VOD strategy for this specific project. You know, there's so much entertainment right now, Bruce. There's so much entertainment right now. The younger generations, they don't have to wait for their entertainment like we did. We had to wait for Blockbuster rentals for a year and then to get physical media. Younger generations do not have to wait for anything. It's right here. And that's something you all should realize. It's all at your fingertips. Anything you want. That may be another issue. That's a separate issue, that you could get anything you want via the internet. Most things you want via the internet, you know? You don't have to wait. And if you have to wait that long, in some cases, people will move on. L phone case. This is a recycled phone case, Beltry. I got this from my mother. Okay. Yeah, if it's doing good, Lisa, excellent point. The studios have tracking, pre-sales, weekend 1, weekend 2. After the opening weekend, you don't think that these movie companies have formulas to determine where they're overall going to end up at? They have a lot of people. They look at these numbers like a fine-tooth comb. They know pretty much where they're going to stay at. And to suggest, people say, I don't know enough about executives. I would suggest you don't know enough about numbers and what the VOD strategy is. You don't have how much they make on VOD. There is an audience, whether you like it or not. There's some people that will buy on VOD that will not go to the theater. And I'm not saying all one or one all the other way. I'm saying they probably went too far with day and date and VOD in the past. I completely agree there. Is the answer just to revert back to the old ways? No, because we're no longer there. Look at the record industry. Taylor Swift still sells a lot of albums. Beyonce still sells a lot of albums. But is it like the 90s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s where there's a bunch of bands, a bunch of pop stars, a bunch of rock bands and rappers that are all selling lots of records? No, it's not. There's still going to be big movies. It's not going to go away. It's not dead, but it's not what it once was. Maybe do what James Gunn and Christopher Nolan are doing, make it an IMAX theatrical experience that you cannot emulate in the home. Popcorn buckets, variable pricing that benefits the consumer, not just the companies. Not every movie needs to be $12. These are things that could get people back. But the theater industry is doing okay now with the big budget movies. And how are you, I will bring this up, Bruce. How is this any different from what I'm saying? If they would have pulled Elemental and Little Mermaid before 30 days, they wouldn't have made any money. Who said to make a shortened strategy on Elementals and Little Mermaid? I didn't. I said it depends on the movie. Little Mermaid is a big movie. Elemental, that was one of the first Pixar movies, I think, that was in theaters after the day and date strategy. And they had numbers to suggest if it has a strong drop off or not. If the second weekend drop is huge, you could be costing your money movie if you stay there for 60 days with that significant of a drop. Okay. But yes, my issue more so than entitled fans, and I'm not saying entitled fans is not an issue, is entitled companies, especially in 2025 when people are struggling. You are not entitled to our funds anymore unless the product is great. I'm sorry. I will go back to the theater because I do movie talk. If I did not do movie talk, I don't want to see as many movies in the theater because honestly, they're not good enough. They're good. They're not dumpster fires. I'm not saying things are trash, but a lot of these movies are just not good enough. They're not theater worthy. Remember Elaine from Seinfeld, Sponge Worthy? I feel like a lot of people do that nowadays. Is this theater worthy? Should I go out of my way, spend time to travel to the theater just for an okay movie? Because I should, because I did in the past. When you're also competing with action, horror, sci-fi, fantasy movies that have all been done before. We've had how many years of movie history now? There's probably a better movie you could find on the shelf. And we're just going to go to the movies because it's good. I'm sorry. For me, I will. For general audiences, I don't think so. I think that's what you're getting now. We want to be wowed. We want to be taken on a ride that doesn't just feel like something we've seen before. Yes, I do movie talk. I cover everything. I cover all aspects. I love this shit. Don't box yourself in on what movie talk is. Movie talk is box office talk and what's happening to the industry. Why are all you another rant? Why are you trying to tell me what movie talk is? It's everything in the industry. Things that don't happen, things that happen, things that change with the president of each company. All factors. Do you really want to limit movie talk to just when a movie comes out to talk about what happened? That sounds effing lame. Well, it came out. Let's talk about the movie now. No. That sounds ridiculous. Telling me what the movie talk is or should be. Oh my God. I don't know why we want to box ourselves in. Don't talk about rumors. You can't talk about rumors. It's not official. I can talk about rumors. Rumors are fun. It's even better when it actually happens, which happens half the time. We've had some really cool rumors that have come true. Lisa Soares, $5 retro screenings are my favorite, but they do one showing in the smallest seat theater and it sells out. You think $5 use the larger theaters and pack them in? Silly management choices to me. I love the $5 retro. That's great. Bargain night. You know, I want the top premium IMAX experience, but I also think they should, the theaters, have variable pricing that benefits the consumers. Not all these movies are worth the cost they're trying to sell. Just like all video games are not $70 video games. This is a problem in the video game industry too. Nintendo Switch is going to come out with a Switch 2. They may try to charge $70 for each game, and that shouldn't happen. It depends on the budget, depends on how big of an experience it is. Variable pricing should be at the customer's benefit to, not just to the big companies to charge you more. Unfortunately, that's the angle it went for. Okay, let me see. All right, let me see what else I had here. Oh, I wanted to get to this because this is very exciting news. I wanted to react with. I don't think this will get me a copyright, mate. I hope it doesn't. Oh, my mouth. All right, so I'm bringing up this new video game that is very exciting, that I did not react to yet. Maybe I'll keep the volume really low just in case they have James, because James Cameron will strike that stuff. Yeah, the volume's low. I'm just going to do no volume on this one. This came out of nowhere for me. I am so excited about this project. I didn't even watch it yet. Terminator 2D No Fate announcement trailer for PS4 and PS5. No Xbox. Come on, I want it for the Xbox so I could get my achievements. So hopefully it's for Xbox and Switch as well. I would assume it is. All right, so let's look this here. Reef Entertainment. This looks, I mean, the premise sounds amazing. Sprite artwork. Look at that Terminator. Oh, they actually got the official Sarah Connor. So T1000. That looks cool. They got all the licensed stuff here. An Untold Future. Look at this. It's like Contra with Terminator. Oh, there's Sarah Connor. Oh, I hope there's not too much stealth stuff. Oh boy. Are you kidding me? Look at the sequence. This is really cool. This is definitely going to get my top stories of the week. You fight a naked Arnold. Oh wow. I got it. This might be a day one for me. Day one video game. I also have to see the developer. It almost looks like Way Forward type game. I wouldn't be surprised. Humanity needs you. Will you answer? Continue. That's freaking awesome. Okay, so it's on PS4 and PS5. Are any of you interested in this? I did not already watch it. I saw screenshots. I did not already watch it. That is sick. You're in the PS2 level. Okay. Well, PS2 is great. All right. I can maybe probably do one more topic. I'm going to get ready for the Power Hour later. I know people don't like my takes. That's fine. That's why I have a show to do. That's why my own show. Okay, so let me bring this up because this needs correcting. Grace Randolph is wrong, and so is Bruce. All right. let me bring this up here. Did I have a All right, let me just bring up the articles because I thought I had a banner, but I don't. All right, let me bring this up here. So this is what Bruce added me on X. Oh, God. Wireless mouse kind of sucks. So this is via the Hollywood Reporter, and I live and breathe Star Wars. Back in the day, and I will share, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, Star Wars and the promise of what it could be kept me alive, okay? I had some dark moments. The thought of seeing some entertainment saves people. Escapism is a great thing for your mental health. I'm not saying it should be as much of a crutch as it was for me to keep me on this earth. But yes, the seeing what happened to Luke, Han, and Leia was that important to me. And that's why I got so angry when I saw what they did. And when I saw Mark Hamill saying that they wouldn't listen to him, he doesn't think this is what his character would do. A lot of other things that happened at that time that I really got upset when I saw The Last Jedi, because I've been holding on to seeing what happened with the sequel trilogy for years, even before the prequels. When he decided to do the prequels, I was like, no, I want to see the sequels. I want to see the sequels. So a lot of people now are saying that they're framing it like George Lucas sold Star Wars just because of toxic fans. And I'm not saying there's not toxic fans, and I'm not saying that wasn't a factor, but there were so many things going on with George at the time. George tried to make a TV series that eventually got shelved. He had hundreds of scripts written for a TV show that was never filmed. Lucasfilm at the time did not have the funds that Disney does to pump this much money into all these projects. During the original trilogy, he got divorced. He didn't spend as much time with his children. He's also older. And yes, the failed reception of the prequel trilogy, Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Red Tails, and then the other thing that he invested heavily in was he was investing in, just when James Cameron was really bringing in 3D with the first Avatar movie, he was bringing in, he was remastering all the Star Wars movies in 3D. Another failure that people don't know happened, because I was looking forward to it, was he invested heavily in converting the prequel trilogy first in 3D instead of the original trilogy. I think if he would have started with the original trilogy, like the fans, but he did what George wanted. And he basically said that in this article. I'm doing what I want to do for Star Wars, and this is the way it is. So that was another big whiff. I think if he would have started with the original, people would have got used to seeing Star Wars in 3D. With the expensive 3D conversion he was doing, he could have sold Star Wars again on 3D. When that didn't happen, and the failure of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and some other things he was working on along with the TV show, along with his age and being newly married and not wanting to go through another period of time like that, he wanted to do it. He signed on Mark, Carrie, and Harrison before he handed it to Disney. He also had a treatment, but he also said, if I do this, it's going to take 10 years of my life, probably the last 10 years, and Disney being what Disney is, they did it in 6. That's probably another reason why there's some big inconsistencies and issues with the sequel trilogy. When George did it, even though you might not like the results of the prequels, there was a lot more time to pivot some storylines, adjust, and make the product better. For instance, in Empire Strikes Back, Carrie kisses Mark Hamill. In Return of the Jedi, you find out that they're siblings, you know, or by the end of The Empire Strikes Back. So there's so much there that changed where time could have really helped. They would not. They were reactionary for The Last Jedi with The Rise of Skywalker, but they didn't give enough time to make the necessary adjustments. They could have made it a lot better film and could have really brought it home. But Disney doesn't change release dates. Not after Solo. Okay, so this is what Grace is saying where she's wrong. Crazy, some Star Wars fans are rewriting history. Kathleen Kennedy made a lot of mistakes, but as I pointed out the other day, George Lucas was also bullied by fans, and that's partially why he sold to Disney. Okay, well, she's not wrong. She said partially. Yes, part of it was that. In my opinion, on how many interviews I watched at the time and how much I was anticipating the sequel trilogy, I think it was more so the other factors. His age, the failures of his recent projects, the TV show and 3D not becoming a success, along with Indiana Jones' fourth movie. I think that took priority over toxic fans. But it does say in the Hollywood Reporter, this is an out of context quote. I would like to have the whole interview here. The filmmaker says why he's retiring the sci-fi franchise. Why would I make any more when everyone yells at you all the time and says what a terrible person you are? So it's right there in black and white. That is what he said. That's part of it. That's not the whole story, though. Not the whole story. And that's where we get to where we're at right now with the Star Wars franchise. So Mark Hamill opinion changed and regrets making earlier statements. Show me the proof of that, Bruce. And if he felt that way at the time, that's still accurate. That's still accurate. I think what you're referencing is there were some interviews with him, he said, where he's grown to accept what happened to Luke. It's just not his Luke. So there's some context that you're not providing either, unless I'm thinking of a different interview. The interview I think you're reflecting on is where he said, maybe I shouldn't have said anything because this is no longer my Luke. That doesn't negate what he said earlier about what he being Luke Skywalker. Now, some people should say, should he have a say in anything if it's Luke Skywalker? He's just an actor. Okay, but I think that's what you're referencing, that interview where he said, he's not my Luke. I should listen to the director. It's not my Luke anymore. It's another generation. You have the context? Okay. All right. I think that's where we'll start wrapping it up, unless I have another topic here. Let me look at X real quick. There's some stuff. Mark Hamill, The Last Jedi opinion has changed a little. All right, let me see what else is on my timeline here. Ooh. This is big news, and this is big news for you, Bruce, too. No, this is the Mad Show, or I could call it the Max Show. I don't know. What sounds better, the Mad Show or the Max Show? This is my solo show where I give my horrible hot takes that everyone hates. And it's fun for me, and I feel better already. I got all that out. I think there's another topic that it was bugging me, but whatever. I'll cover that another stream. Okay, so this is breaking news for The Boys Season 5. It's going to be one heck of a ride. Hashtag The Boys. Bruce, did you see this yet? We'll probably cover this on the Power Hour later as well. It looks like the big three from the Supernatural series are all on The Boys now. Eric Kripke, the showrunner for The Boys, worked on Supernatural. This is going to be awesome. That's old? I didn't know. It's news to me. I didn't know. Misha. I was watching some Supernatural with Bruce. That's really cool. Let me see what people are saying. Supernatural fans, we'll see. This is the reunion we've been waiting for. Growing my hair out. This is going to be boom. Okay. I can't wait to see what Jensen Ackles does next. I think he's really the big star from that. That's yesterday. It's news to me. I was sleeping yesterday. I'm waiting for Shrek 5 for the Power Hour, CGH. God damn it! Blue Jay! No, it's more madness. It's more madness. It's my bet. My wonderful, amazing takes can only be contained to one stream without any interference. This is an amazing show. I didn't disrespect Shrek. News waits for no one. All right, CJH is sliding into my DMs. Let me see the context here. See, he's just getting me to... Hold on a second. I already thumbs this up, CGH. It's not the only... I might call it the Max Show. What do you like, the Max Show or the Mad Show? Let me see. No, I don't like that. That's not a good... All right, let's see what... Here we go. See, I already thumbs it up. I actually unthumbs it up when I... Here we go.
Done that. I'll tell you why. Because that should remain in the rehearsal process. That should be between the screenwriter and the director. And I regret saying that out loud.
Documentary that kept coming.
It's not... There's the context. Bruce is wrong. I regret saying it out loud because that should be behind the scenes. That doesn't mean that's not how he felt. That doesn't mean that's not his feelings. Okay? So does he think differently about his character? No. This, along with the other interview I'm thinking of where he says, it's no longer my Luke, it's the other generation's Luke. That does not mean that he doesn't feel the same. He just means I shouldn't have put out baggage into the public. That's all. Which, I want actors to say how they feel. Like, you know, check my DMs, Max. Geez, okay. Let me. You didn't give me a link there. Oh man, your thumbnails. Are you just wanting me to show the thumbnails for the Power Hour because they look great? Because you didn't provide a link there. I'll have to look it up. All right, let me bring this up. Look at how good Bruce is. Lantern's first look, meh. Oh, my mouse isn't working. This one, definitely. Yeah, you keep sending me I'm just going to have to Google this because it doesn't have the link. Okay. Let me Google. Do you guys have a really good wireless keyboard or mouse? Because mine's wonky. I really need to get a better one. All right, here we go. Excuse me. My mouse isn't working. Hold on. I'm bringing it up now. Still want me to talk about this. Okay. No, I don't want to talk about that. Why would you want to talk about that, Bruce? All right. So Mark Hamill has changed his mind a little about The Last Jedi, but he still has regrets. Okay. Ryan Johnson's Star Wars Last Jedi is almost as famous for Mark Hamill's controversial press tour as it's for the film itself. Hamill famously objected to certain creative decisions in the film, namely the revelation that Luke Skywalker essentially quit the rebellion after a painful failure and had spent years living a hermit-like existence by himself. I said to Ryan, Jedis don't give up. I feel like some do give up, but not Luke Skywalker. Not Luke Skywalker when the whole galaxy is almost going to perish. He has his father there who knows his father, and it goes up against the Emperor with all his friends fighting a battle out there, and he throws the lightsaber away not to give in to hate and fear. But he put his lightsaber up just at the thought of Kylo turning evil. So I do think some Jedis give up, but not Luke. I mean, even if Luke had a problem, he would maybe take a year to try and regroup. But if he made a mistake, he would try to right the wrong. So right there, we had a fundamental difference. Hamill said at the same time, but it's not my story anymore. That's what I remember. See, people think I don't know my shit. I know my shit. I knew that. I followed everything they said. It's someone else's story, and Ryan needed me to be a certain way to make that ending effective. That's the crux of my problem. Luke would never say that. All right, so Hamill quickly walked back the comments after they caused the media firestorm, but it appears he's still thinking about the fan account on Twitter recently questioned Hamill about the movie, asking, do you have any anecdotes or memories from making the film you'd be willing to share? Have you changed your mind about anything after the past 5 years? We have done everything differently. Thank you. Not really. A little. Yes, you're welcome. Would you have done anything differently? Yes. A little. He changed it a little. He's still not happy with that Luke Skywalker. He's still not. I don't know what was this supposed to show me, Bruce? What was this supposed to show me? What was it? I knew exactly what I said. I think that's the article. I think that's where you're going to say it. This is not my story anymore. Okay. That doesn't mean he's happy with it. When they made him sit and he played ball and not say a word for a literal cliffhanger at the end of Force Awakens, where he was in all the script readings and he narrated for everyone and he was playing ball, and then they get to him for the Last Jedi and said this. And my problem is not that there's a hermit like Luke Skywalker. It's if you're going to do that story, you have to sell it to the audience, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it in the flashbacks or the different points of view from Kylo or Luke. That the only thing that made him put the lightsaber up and go to Kylo's tent, which is creepy in itself, a Jedi priest going to a youngling's tent and raise that lightsaber, was the thought of Kylo doing evil things. Whereas his father actually destroyed planets with the Death Star, literally destroyed people, and would not give up. He's called the New Hope. He's called Star Wars A New Hope is called A New Hope because of Luke. Luke is the New Hope, also the rebellion. The Luke Skywalker that we get in the original trilogy, in my opinion, would not give up hope or give in the fear that quickly. We're also talking about a Jedi Master. For a Jedi Master to approach his nephew, his own flesh and blood nephew, and think about taking him out just by the fear of him turning evil, that doesn't work for me. and it didn't work in the story for me. And if something was going to make him want to take out his nephew like that, it had to be something so damning, so egregious, that let the New Hope let go of his hope that he had for his father, when his father actually did literal things, not just projecting into the future what could have happened. And that's why it didn't work for me. But I've come to terms with it, and I don't need the Luke Skywalker. I'm not holding on for Star Wars for Luke Skywalker and the Skywalker saga to come back. It's already done. It's already done. And this is another issue I have with the people in movie talk and entertainment talk. I could read. I won't. I could read a topic, but I don't like the gatekeeping of a story. If there's movies released in the theaters, the movies should explain it. I don't care if they gave more backstory in a comic later on to band-aid the mistakes they made in The Last Jedi. I don't give a crap. It doesn't tell you in the movie, and even if it's a little bit more elaborate in the comics, it's not portraying it to the audience. Okay? It does not show it in the movie. If I'm missing something in a Knights of Ren comic where Kylo did something so egregious that would make Luke want to take up a lightsaber to his own nephew, okay, I missed that, but it still doesn't show it in the movie, and the movie should deliver that. The movies should have enough there, just like Captain America, Brave New World. There's some things that happen in the Disney Plus series, Falcon the Winter Soldier. A prolific game director like the guy that made Metal Gear Solid was confused. That's a fair criticism to the general public. And saying they're like idiots or something because they didn't read supplemental material when the movies should be for the mass market is not on the consumer. That's on the creatives and the companies that bring it to the public. You should not have to do supplemental stuff to make the story better. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said that's an important point in The Last Jedi. It should be portrayed in the movie. You shouldn't have to do research for it. It should be portrayed in the sequel trilogy. I didn't say I can't. I said I won't. All right, we're over an hour. Thank you for watching the Mad Show or the Mac Show, depending on what I call it next time. I had some fun. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. F you, Anthony.